All right, so just say your name and where you're from.
For sure. My name is DNA. I'm from Chicago. Yeah, and I'm down here in Mizzou right now. So,
Awesome. So what made you want to pursue music?
what made me want to pursue music? I would say what made me start doing music was Lil Wayne. When I was 8 years old, I used to freestyle to old Wayne beats in my auntie's basement, and that was like my first ever introduction to rap, and just kind of coming into like comfortability with myself in regards to music. I never dropped my own song until my senior year of high school, though. I was just like really nervous and really kind of like shrouded about it, but I was surrounded by people who, kept telling me like, yo, you should definitely do this, like keep trying. So eventually I came out with my first song, really just to kind of express myself. It was a remix to Chance the Rapper's Acid Rain,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just really, really personal. And yeah, I guess rap really is just like a self-expression thing for me at this point now.
For sure.
Like letting people know about Mikal, Lil DNA.
Do
Yeah.
you have any like family members that have like inspired you to like keep going with this?
Definitely. My older cousin, Chill, he is the best rapper I've ever known. He actually like started blowing up in Chicago briefly, but instead of pursuing rap, he and his mom like in tandem kind of decided, university schooling was going to be the way to go.
Mhm.
So uh, he kind of shifted in that, but now he is one of my biggest supporters in the music. Like he listens to everything and gives me really in-depth feedback. So um, he is also the auntie I'm talking about. That's her son. So
Yeah.
he was the person that kind of got me into music and got me sort of started freestyling and writing songs. And so now to have him in my corner so strong has definitely been a motivating factor.
Yeah.
And kind of came full circle,
Mhm.
like the protege and the master kind of thing. So yeah.
You said that you have like like schoolwork is like what he went back to.
Yeah.
How do you feel like you balance schoolwork and like being a part of Dope by DNA and DNA like the name?
It is incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
On top of, I guess, being DNA and a student, I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm really involved around campus. So what you're trying to do is essentially give everything the most effort it can, and it results in a lot of sleepless nights. It results in a lot of, gosh, I'm so tired. Like, why am I even doing this still? But you really just, it's about using every hour that you can, using every second that you can, and just applying yourself. Like, sometimes things take the back burner. Like, I didn't drop a song for like 10 months when, like after the Saturday morning cartoon series, but that was because I was doing an internship and, coming back and I got like a 3-4 last semester. So, like, honing in on school. Now that I've kind of got that more settled and structured, I can go back into dropping music and engaging the fans again. So it's just timing, man. Sometimes you're able to do music really hard. Other times you have to like sit down and get with the books. So
Yeah.
just balance, trying to find it,
Mhm.
doing the best I can.
Yeah. You talked about your internship. So you went to China. You said.
Yeah,
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
China was insane, man. Like it was probably one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had. Not only was I able to complete an internship and work for one of like a company in the United States, help them break into China, I was also able to perform. Like I performed at a university in China. I performed at 2 different clubs and like packed out shows, had like ridiculous amounts of engagement from people, and I thought that would be hard. I'm an international artist. There's not a lot of access to my music, but just really got to fall into the right networks of people. My homie Ming, she used to go to Mizzou. She's now in Africa teaching English. Incredible person. She pretty much was the first person to put me on to some club owners and things like that in China, and just sort of naturally following up with them, and they like the music. So there's certainly a lot of potential there. I'm going back this summer too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to follow up on like everything that happened last summer. Man. I popped my first bottle of champagne and got it on the ceiling in China, bro. Like
For real.
that was China for me. So
That's cool.
it was great.
How does the music industry kind of differ from China to here?
There's not a really developed hip hop scene
Mhm.
in China. A lot of their music, like reggae, is incredibly popular in China.
Really?
Jazz, live instrumentation, period, is always like really, really popular. Um, then of course like Korean pop, things like that, but hip hop culture specifically and how impactful it's been to our pop industry, to really every industry related to music and entertainment, it hasn't permeated to the degree it has in the United States here. So I think that for me, it's a good thing because there's still a lot of potential there. You know, like people are hearing from me flows and sounds that they're not regularly exposed to. You know, like the heavy bass line, rap, all of that, like production styles, all of those kind of things. I would say China is like 15 years behind us in hip hop, bro.
And what do you think is like making that possible? Like they are so far behind in the hip hop scene.
I would say the firewall, honestly. There's like basically the Chinese national government has this firewall that keeps out things like SoundCloud, Spinrilla, Hot New Hip Hop, like all of those like regular mediums that people use to access music. On top of a bunch of different other websites, Google is blocked. Like you don't have access to the songs and the music, you know. So you ask people like, "Who's your favorite artist?" They're like 50 Cent, Eminem, N.W.A. Like, and can quote shit like or stuff. My bad. But like they can quote it and be like, "Hey, these are who my favorite artists are." Whereas you ask people about Lil Wayne, you ask people about Kanye West, and there's people our age who are like, "Who?" Like Kanye West. What? But you would think, you know, here there's no way somebody doesn't know who Kanye is. So that's like the biggest, I guess, differences.
That's awesome. And what are your plans for the future of DNA?
Man, just to continue pursuing music. I love this. Like, I hear music almost all day, every day, man. And like, I used to think it was a problem, but ever since I've embraced it, you know, things have just kind of started falling into my lap. I'm hoping by this fall time to actually be doing a college tour. Been talking to some different universities and like people from different university radio stations about setting some of those things up. So I'm hoping that coming into this summer, I'll drop this project in the spring. Towards the end of the summer, dropping another project, and then hopefully a tour after that, and just continuing to try and reach new fans and create new sounds and just keep having fun, man. This is like good for my soul.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's probably been a great journey so far, and just like a lot of hardships, but a lot of great things.
Yeah, certainly, man. I've grown, and like I think that DNA has grown too. You know, like throughout the trials, throughout the frustrations, throughout the shows that fell through, and we were supposed to get paid, and now the promoter's gone, kind of thing. So you go through those ups and downs, but in hindsight, man, I love what I do, and I'm gonna keep doing it and just keep making it more official and make it so good to the point nobody can say no.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate
incredible.
it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Johnny.